All right, welcome back, everyone. Lovely to see you all. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. So using your word or phrase or your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love about your subject. Bless you. All right, now allow that light, that energy to shine out from your heart as you feel your chest expanding, that opening feeling in your heart. Allow that light or energy to shine out. And then allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very, very good. Now allow that light or energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Love that child just for existing. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, shining that light into any darkness, filling everything, everyone, every experience, every circumstance, every event. Feeling that power as you do that. Very good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today, all those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today, loving each one just for existing. Very good. All right, you can open your eyes. And let's check in with each person, find out how you're all doing. So Lisa, you're first up on my screen. How are you today?
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm going to read from page 21. Okay, so once you develop your power, you will be able to tune into it on demand in an instant, right in the middle of anything, right in the middle of a negative situation, right in the middle of an argument, right in the middle of anxiety, and you will transform your emotional state into bliss. It is a skill, and it gets easier and more effective the more you practice it. I love that. That is like the best thing I could have read today.
Perfect and absolutely true. Yes, so thank you, Lisa. It's a very good reminder. So, and that is true, that as you practice it, it becomes automatic. And I remember the first time I noticed something happened. I can't remember what it was. I think it was something to do with driving, like somebody cut me off or something like that. And I remember the first time of noticing that I went straight into that woof of unconditional love instead of anger or frustration. So that is
Yes.
exactly it. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. That was really good.
And did you have any questions for today?
Oh no, I just wanted to target like all this the political stuff being peaceful, a peaceful outcome, because it's building, and there's a lot of like racial tension, and it's too like the energy is kind of icky, and then I just keep in that state, but you're going, oh, okay. Yeah, because when you're driving down the road, now you're starting to see flags and people flipping each other off, and you're going, okay, like American flags and stuff. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird thing. So.
All right. Thank you for bringing that up as well, because you're not alone. A lot of people, I'm sure, are dealing with this at the moment through all kinds of perception and with all kinds of personal experiences. And so this gives me an opportunity to address it for everyone as well. So thank you for that. And we will certainly target it. But in addition to that, this is a powerful opportunity to really, really level up your power and your strength. And the way, what I want to suggest here is, one of the ways I used to describe teaching this stuff is I teach people to be the strongest vibration in the room. So whoever's got the strongest vibration, whether that's positive or negative, is going to be the one that, number one, holds their state, and number two, affects everything and everyone else around them. So before you go anywhere, before you attend a Zoom meeting, or however else you're connecting with people, certainly before you get in your car and drive anywhere, make sure you get into your superpower state, but make it really strong, and think of it as holding that state. So you're surrounded by that unconditional love. Nothing can make you change unless you allow it to make you change. So as you drive down the road and you see these signs of, disturbance and things that are triggering you or things that are worrying you, as you spot them, the flags or the people flipping each other off, whatever it is, as you notice it, aim love at it, and love it. That means love it exactly as it is. So the person flipping the other one off, aim love at both of them. Love them exactly as they are, as the one is flipping the other one off, exactly like that, without judgment, without needing it to change. And the same with the flags and anything else that's going on. Treat it as the perfect opportunity for target practice and leveling yourself up, because again, the more you do that, the more powerful you become, and the more you'll start to notice your environment starts changing. So, and in fact, I wanted to, Steve and I watched a movie yesterday it's on Amazon Prime. You do have to pay for it. I think it's $4.99 to rent it, but it's well worth watching. It is called, what's it called, Steve? I've forgotten.
It's called Superhuman.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Superhuman. And highly recommend it. So it's a documentary on our, superpowers. And they do, at one point, they do mention unconditional love being one of the, sort of, they mention it in that context. But it's a fascinating documentary on the science and research behind the quantum physics of how we're affecting everything and everyone around us all the time, and the study of consciousness and all of that. So if you have any, the vaguest interest in that side of things, it's a good one to watch. And it will also, if you watch it, it will also give you that extra confidence, that extra background and foundation to what we're doing here every day. All right, so I highly recommend that, and it will just help to give you that extra boost to deal with whatever's going on around you as well. So thank you, Lisa, for that opportunity to clarify and share that as well. Is that good? Does it help answer as well?
Oh, yeah. And that's funny you say the Superhuman, because my friend had just recently interviewed the director of that movie. So I was like, I'm really excited to see it, actually.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it is well worth watching. It's very, very good. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. Good job. All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
And now on to Chris. Hi, Chris. Hey, how
Hello
are you
there.
today? It's
Well, it's a good afternoon from the sunny River Thames here. Perfect afternoon.
wonderful.
And thank you, Lisa. Lisa, lovely. Yeah, you always bring up such good references, and you always catch me almost exactly where I am. Those things happen that way. An opportunity to level up. That's a wonderful way of looking at everything, isn't it?
Yes.
And what did I've got quite a lot in my mind. So I've had a very good few weeks.
Okay.
And I've explained when I've been here, I've been firing on all fronts and really feeling in a good place all the time. And then interestingly this morning, a good week ahead and wonderful weather forecast. And as I woke, there was a very different feeling there.
Huh.
So I thought, get the detective work going. Well, of course, it takes time to get through the fog of those sorts of waking up moments. So there was a bit of a struggle. Then I thought, okay, right, I will just allow it. I'm just going to allow it and just get on. So I did all my lovely things. So 2 hours later, I was still allowing. And I thought, oh, well, let's try and have a conversation. But boy, it didn't want to talk. Nothing wanted to talk. Nothing wanted to engage. Yeah, and the feeling was right behind words. The words were not going to didn't want to express itself in words. It was just a feeling. I mean, I'm putting it on my shoulder. It wasn't actually. It was about there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, you're not engaging. I'm not going to follow that route too much. But I let it come on the run. I let it come and do, get up, get ready, do everything. So I thought, well, I do a lot of David Hamilton's the power of thankfulness meditation. So as soon as I said thank you, and of course I'm thanking you for the grass, for the lamppost, for the waste bin, that released a lot. In fact, I suddenly thought, oh, I'm there, which was good, and that certainly got me through the next couple of hours. And then there was a moment about 1 o'clock, so, when suddenly it popped out, I love you. And that, for me, is my place. Yeah, but I mean, I'm only just telling that little story because maybe others, it doesn't, I know Swasti a few weeks ago was struggling with her place, the love, Lisa calls it the love place, which is so nice. But it can be many things at many times, but when it's there. And for me, I found a little technique to just get me going. The thank you really helped me. And so I'm grateful to have learned that today.
Fantastic, Chris. Thank you for sharing that. Very good. It's always good to hear these experiences and how people, how different people find different ways and different things work at different times. But
Different times, yeah.
What's going on. And, it reminds me, of course, of the Ho'oponopono phrase, which is so the Ho'oponopono phrase is my power phrase that I use with my superpower. If I ever have trouble getting into it, or I think that I just need a little bit of extra, then that's the one which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And then boiling it down, I sort of boiled it down to just thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you. And the more I repeat that, because I've linked it with the superpower, then the stronger that gets. So that's another example. And yes, thank you and I love you are two of the most powerful. Now, having said that, because of the references we have, so it depends on the references one has. So for a lot of us, let's say, the words thank you and I love you can be very empowering and very powerful for bringing up those good feelings. For some other people, they may have different references for them, so that may not be the case. But thank you very much, Chris, for sharing that experience.
Thank you.
And well done for persisting. Well done.
Yes.
Because that's
I'm nearly there. it doesn't matter. There's a lovely sense of Steve talks about, no, don't have an expectation, because I mean, I've been really up there. And at the minute, I'm not, but that doesn't matter. It's
Exactly.
I'm allowing, and it's here. It's fine. It's good.
That's it, exactly. And that's the part that so many, where so many fall off, is when something appears to not be working or it hasn't changed, and then they stop. And when you stop, then of course you never. So the idea is just keep trying different things. We'll try something else. Just keep going until, which is exactly what you did, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for sharing.
And just a final word of encouragement, because it's what you said in the Friday meeting, and you've said this so many times before. I cannot create anything bad for myself when I'm in this place. So it really gave me the confidence to pursue it, although I was defaulting to, oh, what's the point? And what's, that was, and I was just saying, it's fine, I can allow you, it's fine, I'll just get on with it. And it was quite a funny little dialogue was going on.
Fantastic, Chris. I'm so thrilled to hear that. I'm so proud of you, and so grateful for you, because that allowing it helps also. Like if you imagine you're driving from wherever you are to wherever you want to be, and those thoughts, those feelings that come up that create doubt, or that, what's the point, those kind of things, you can see those as scenery along the way. And it's you don't want to get out and fiddle with the scenery. Just keep driving forward. Just that scenery, it'll pass eventually. It's not nice right now, but it's okay to leave it there, to allow it and pass through. So thank you, Chris. That's wonderful. Good job. And that sky looks gorgeous. All right. So Swasti. Hi, Swasti. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. I also had a similar experience to what Chris just said. So I realized that happiness is actually quite hard to constantly stay in that. But then I realized that there's a reference of you can't always have what you want. So change that, and then happiness is easier, I guess. It's easier to get off that triggered state.
Very good. And I thank you for that, because something else popped into my head as Chris was talking, and then I couldn't remember what it was, but you've just reminded me. So thank you for that. So yes, one of the things that helped me a lot, so because our idea of happiness, and it's different for everybody, but a lot of people, including myself, had this idea that when you're high is when you're happy. So especially if you have been, like you've been excited about something, things are good, you've just had some wonderful news, that's happiness. And then anything below that feels like you're not where you want to be.
Yeah.
But so here's how to set a new baseline that helps a lot. And it takes some getting used to. But if you can do this and keep coming back to it, it's kind of provides like a safety net, like a foundation that means you're able to be more content more of the time. And then the highs are great, but you don't have to be, because we're not designed to be on a high all the time anyway, and that's exhausting. We can't keep it up. But if you take a moment and try doing it every day, or maybe even several times a day, but at least whenever as much as you can, of just sitting and just focusing on your breath going in and out, and just feeling the feeling of peace, a very calm, lower energy, not low energy as in that way, but I mean a calmer energy of just being with the feeling or the thoughts, and perhaps different words and phrases will work for different people, but just the idea, however you phrase it for yourself, of I am enough exactly as I am. I could sit here and do absolutely nothing, and I'm okay. And I'm good. I'm safe, and I'm good exactly like this without doing anything at all. And that's your basic. And then anything you do beyond that is fantastic. But you, at any point, you can go back to just sitting. So the result of this is that when you find yourself going, oh, you know, I need to do something, I'm not happy, I need to make something, I need to create something, I need to be happy, you can just bring it down and just go, I can just sit here. And I can sit here feeling that this is enough, this is perfect, I'm safe, I'm enough, until I suddenly feel inspired to, because then it'll take you back up again. But it means you won't go below it. I don't know if any of that's making sense, but
Yeah, it does.
yeah.
I think I unconsciously did that. And yeah, it definitely just to become calmer, because I've been feeling really anxious, which is another thing I was going to talk about. But yeah, that works really well. Yeah, I will continue to use that.
Good. And then the other thing that's popped into my head is, in addition to that, you could focus on just a color as well. Sometimes just focusing on color. And if you have a physical color in front of you, you can do that. You know, if you have your, and it doesn't have to be a favorite, it can be any color, where you can just look at that color and just appreciate it. Or a flower, or a tree, or a picture of an animal. Something that you can just go, I'm bringing my focus to this, and this is enough right now. So thank you, Swasti.
That's really powerful. Okay, well, that's good. But the other thing was, so the reason I would do that is because there's always this underlying stress that I can't get rid of, and I don't know what it is. I think it's like time crunch tasks and just the timing of things.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. So I went to the memory of that, before the airport, like my parents were leaving for the airport. And I think that was good. So I don't know what else it could be.
Okay. All right. So let's look at what is the problem with time? What is it? Where, in other words, where do your thoughts go when you feel this time pressure, this connection to time being an issue?
It's always running out of time. So whenever I did exams in school, I never told anybody, but like I would always run out of time in exam. I never finished a single paper. So like if you had that issue, you would get extra time. Like officially, you'd have to write it down and stuff. But I just thought that was what special people did, so I never said anything. The teachers always told me, like, you do the questions that you do right, so why do you never get to the end? I just said, oh no, I'm fine, it's fine, I don't want extra time. It's okay. So that's what comes up whenever I think of time.
Very good. All right. So let's have a look at that. So that feeling of, I want you to go back to one of those times and imagine, just play the memory in your head when that you do finish. What would happen if you finished the full thing in the allotted amount of time? What would have been the consequence or the result?
Probably full marks in every single exam I did.
Right. And then what? What bad things would have happened?
I might have rushed a few questions, so it might not be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So what bad things would happen from...
What bad things would have happened if you'd managed to get it all done within the amount of time you had? If anything, it doesn't matter if there isn't anything.
Yeah, it just feels a bit wrong and absurd. Like I never seem to finish things in time.
Right. Yes. And so now that feeling of not finishing anything, because you could have had the extra time, but you chose to not have the extra time so that you wouldn't finish. So that feeling of not finishing, what emotions are around there of not finishing? So there must be a part of you that feels it's not safe to finish, or it's not safe to reach the end. You got something?
Yeah, because when you finish something, you have to start something new.
Yes, very good. And so that feeling of when you finish something, you have to start something new. What's your earliest memory of that? And it may have nothing to do with work, with schoolwork. It could be anything.
No, the house in India comes out with like the different rooms and decorating the rooms.
Right.
Even though I didn't know I had a memory of that. I don't think we ever decorated rooms.
Okay, that doesn't matter. So, because whatever it is, your subconscious has got something there. Okay, so you're decorating rooms in India, and what is that? What emotions or thoughts or memories are there as you think of it? What's the thing that stands out most?
It's like the clothes wardrobe. I like the clothes flowing out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I had to fold the clothes or
Right.
that's the image I have right now.
Okay, and what's the feeling of it, or what was happening around that time?
I don't know. Another thing comes up, which is so you know when you have, I don't know, when you have henna on your hand, like the Indian tattoo on your hand. I got that in India when we went for like back on holiday when I was here, and then we went back.
Right.
And then my aunties made me clean clothes by hand to get rid of it, so that when I came back to school I wouldn't have it because it wasn't allowed. So that's what comes up.
And how old were you then?
8 or 9.
Okay, and how did you feel about that?
That was unfair because there was another girl in my class, like in England, who always had henna on her hand and nobody said anything.
Right. Okay, good. And then now this thing of not finishing, was that did you have that before you went to on holiday to India? In other words, before 8 years old, or not?
No, as far as I remember, I always finished things, and I always had plenty of time, and I liked that.
Very good. So the first time you remember experiencing this thing of not finishing?
Yeah, I think.
When you came.
I think that's the washing clothes one.
You can address the washing clothes one, and now let me just check. I just want to double check some things. Is what else happened when you were on holiday in India? Anything that stands out apart from washing clothes?
We went to a different place than we normally do. It was like a peaceful place. I don't even know. It was like a meditation thing that my grandpa's into.
Nice. Anything bad happened while you were there, or any bad experiences?
No, but I remember this one time where they compared me to like these year 9 kids. So year 9 kids are like 14, 15, and I was 8 or 9. Right. And my grandpa was like showing the sums that they had on their maths thing. They were like, "Can you do these?" And I said, "Yeah, probably."
And how did that feel?
I felt guilty because I probably couldn't do them, so I probably lied to him.
Okay, good. So there may be something there. That would make sense. Simply because not necessarily as a standalone, but combined with the other experiences I know of from your childhood of being compared, and that comparison thing and feeling, other people are achieving something that I'm not, or other people being acknowledged. There's something around that may be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you want to change that to where he said that and you said, "Yeah, sure, give it to me," and you did it and you got it all right. And he was like, "I can't believe you did that. Those were 14-year-olds. Look at my granddaughter, how," and he raves to other people about how clever you are.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Yeah, and I think an earlier one is like children move in classes. It's like if you're super smart, then you it wasn't very like in England where you have set classes and set ages. They were like, if you're clever, you can move up classes. If you fail, you stay in your same class. You have to repeat the year. So that's probably like the comparing thing.
Absolutely.
And the whole school system as well, maybe.
Yeah. Very good. So make sure that you are always top of the class, you're above everybody else, and it's being, your parents and your grandparents are always bragging about you to everybody else and very proud of you. All right. And then also with the clothes one, changed that as well, where the clothes were washed in a dryer. The clothes were washed in a dryer. You know what I mean? In a washing machine, and you went to school with the henna on, and everybody loved it. And they were, oh, that's so beautiful, and all right. So see how that goes, and then, and also in addition to, of course, doing the allowing technique with that anxiety of the time thing. So spend some time just feeling that time pressure and allowing that time pressure to just be there without any judgment and without trying to change it.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. Good job. All right. I think the next one on screen was Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too.
How are you doing today?
Well, I have a concern.
Mm-hmm.
It's because every time I meditate, I fall asleep.
So every time you, I didn't quite get that. Every time you something, you fall asleep?
I meditate.
Oh, you meditate. Oh, you're not alone. If I meditate, I generally fall asleep as well. And I know a lot of people do. And so I'm going to let Steve really answer that, because he's the meditation expert. He taught meditation for a long time. So I'm going to let him answer.
I will tell you, I know that I've done several meditation retreats, led some, been on several, but I remember early on having that same issue of going to meditation retreats or doing meditation and falling asleep. So I decided to get up the courage one day to ask my meditation instructor, who, he was kind of, he wasn't kind of, he was a long practiced Buddhist monk at the time that I was studying from. So I got up the courage to ask him, and he was a person of very few words. And when he spoke, everybody kind of hung on every word. So he sat there and he's like, okay, so I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what the problem is, what it's a sign of when you're falling asleep during meditation. So I'm sitting there, anticipating the answer, and he's like, you're tired. Listen to your body. So it's been really sage advice, and it's like, oh, just listen to what's going on. If you're falling asleep during meditation, it could be a couple of different things. One, we get into habitual patterns about where we meditate. So if you're trying to meditate when you're in bed, that's not necessarily a good place if you're trying to stay awake when you're meditating, because your brain has made a link that, this is what I do when I'm in this space laying on this piece of furniture. This is for sleeping. So if you're trying to meditate when you're laying in bed, you're already in kind of this conflictual relationship with what your brain is trying to habitually do. So find a different space and start practicing in a different space. So that could be one thing. But clearly, if you're falling asleep every time you're practicing, it could just be that you need to listen to your body and then actually give yourself a nap, give yourself that space, and then come back to it after you're not tired. So you could try that. How does that sound?
I thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
I agree. Yeah. So if you're falling asleep doing anything at all, it means you need more sleep. Yeah. And to be fair, most people need more sleep. Most people are sleep deprived in our society, in our world.
Yes.
And one of, there's a lot of reasons for that. And one of them, many reasons, is electronics just before bed. So anyone who's looking at their phones or watching TV or on a computer or tablet before going to sleep, if you're not sleeping well or you can't get to sleep, the reason for that is the screen. So take some time out, listen to an audiobook rather, before going to sleep if you want something to occupy your mind.
All right,
So
thank you.
the light in your eyes from the screen, that's the reason for it.
Ah,
Sound good? So I recommend getting a really lovely audiobook that you are, that's uplifting, that's reassuring, that's interesting. So nothing that will get you thinking too much, just something gentle. What's his name? Neville Goddard, for example, his books, anything like that, his voice will put you to sleep, those kind of things. The other one is Alan Watts. Alan Watts really can put you to sleep beautifully. So for anybody who is interested in that, he talks about consciousness and spirituality and that, but he's got a really soothing voice. And listening to one of his books just before you go to sleep, and maybe even as you're falling asleep, will help you get into that gentle, relaxed, sleepy state.
I think, though, that Carrie maybe she wasn't focused on sleep as much as she was trying to stay awake during meditation.
What I mean is that when going to bed at night and getting good sleep, doing that for so that you're getting good sleep at night, it means that when you do your meditation in the daytime, you're more likely to stay awake because you've had good sleep during the night. And it may take a while, a few nights in a row of getting good sleep. This is a really good opportunity to mention this very powerful point. Happiness, when measured by researchers, the getting good quality sleep consistently was a much higher indicator of ongoing happiness than money, than an increase in income. So getting more money or an increase in income, getting any kind of more financial, improving your finances was a much lower effect on happiness than good quality sleep every night, consistently. So that's a huge thing, that anybody who you feel like you're not quite as happy as you'd like to be, and very often we chase after more money or a relationship or all kinds of other things, sleep. Good quality sleep will be the start, and from there you can achieve the other things. So Carrie, does it help a little bit?
yes, thank you.
Good. You're very welcome, sweetheart. Good job. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's good to see you always.
Yay. All right. And then Sadia. Hi, Sadia. Lovely to see you too.
Hi, Odille and everybody. Yeah, it's lovely to see you all. And yeah, first I want to say how grateful I am, like, for all the resources like shared daily. Now I feel like I'm so better equipped now to, face things like anxiety and stress and all these things. I've seen the benefits like the past week and more, because usually I'm gonna have exams like this week, and usually exams is like, it's a real big time for me. And like I would have any kind of physical feelings, such as sometimes I would even vomit and feel bad and have fever and all this kind of thing, just to express how anxious I would be. So that method has been really helpful. So I want to express again my thankfulness to you both. But I have a question. I don't know if you can hear me, because I don't know.
Yes, I'm just a little bit confused because I can hear you, but you're muted, it says on here, but I can hear you. So I don't.
It was the same thing my side. I don't know.
I don't know if we've developed, special kind of, supernatural hearing or something. But it says you're muted, but I can hear you. So I hope the recording is picking you up.
All good. Yeah, so the question is, I've been practicing zero tolerance like and shifting my focus, bring back. But I've been feeling like triggered as like the more the day they're approaching. For example, I'm gonna I'm gonna have the exams like tomorrow and all the rest of the day, and I feel like it becomes more and more difficult for me to take off my eyes of this future, like all the thing that is going to happen, and refocused on what I'm doing, even if it's the more present moment or something. And so I was wondering, when we are finding it difficult to shift our focus, so what would you advise?
Oh, Sadia. So that's a great example. So let me ask you this. Oh, I'm picking myself up now on your mic. Let me just, that's weird. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So let's have a look at this. So when you think of the exam, so like you say, you're using the zero tolerance, but it's getting more difficult. So when you feel that you're focusing on whatever's triggering you about the exams, what is it? What's the thing that you're most worried about? Where does your mind go, in other words?
Well, I actually had a surprise because all the exams, they were supposed to be written, so now they are all going to be orals. So each time I would think of it being in front of the people and all these kind of things, so I'm like totally freaking out. And each time I think, okay, let's find a reference. I've been working on it, but it's the stress still comes back and back and back. So I feel like it's a lot of time, like trying to not even avoid the stress, but to maintain my, chemical, because I can't focus on anything else when I feel like this.
Yes, yeah, makes sense. And so let's have a look at this. So it's going to be oral. So you're going to be speaking to people.
Yeah.
That's going to be the exam. All right, very good. So what's wrong with speaking to people? What's the thing that you're most afraid of?
Well, a lot of things. I realized I was kind of worried about speaking in front of them and say things, and that they would find me like numb and all this kind of thing.
So they find you what?
Like dumb,
All right.
I know it's a big thing to say, but this is how, it is in my mind.
Yes.
Like, I would have to say things, they would not be interested, because like the thing is, I feel like I'm not gonna teach them anything, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna be there speaking, and so I've been working on it a little bit, but it still comes back.
Yep, there's definitely something here. So you're going to be speaking to them now. Worst case scenario, they're going to think you're dumb and they're not going to be interested in what you're saying. Is that right?
And I will have, like a very bad grade or something like that.
Good. So they're going to think you're dumb. They're not going to be interested in what you're saying, and you're going to get a bad grade. Okay, so that's terrible. Now, when will you be killed?
I always love that question. Well, yeah, no.
So we're going to establish that at no point are you going to be in physical danger from this exercise, right? From these exams.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know it seems like a silly question, and it seems that, but here's the thing, consciously that that's not the case, but your subconscious thinks you're in physical danger, and that's why I'm asking that question, so that you can use your conscious mind to remind yourself and go, I'm not going to die. So them thinking what's wrong with, so that's one thing. Now let's drill down. What's wrong with those people thinking you're dumb and not being interested in what you're saying? Why is that a problem?
Well, because they're all my teachers, and well, I've been realizing like a very big part of my life, teachers, they have been having a very big place. Yes. I've been working on that a little bit. Like I needed their approval and all this kind of thing. And if I didn't get it, I would think, oh, I'm not smart enough, or not that intelligent and all this kind of thing.
Right. But and now let's put that in context of the subconscious, because what's really going on is not that they'll think you're not as intelligent in that. There's that. But what's causing the problem is that to your subconscious, that means death. To your subconscious, that means the people who, to that subconscious part of you are going to protect you and keep you alive. If they don't, if they don't approve of you, you'll be kicked out of the tribe and you'll die, because we're not designed to live alone. So it helps to understand that that's why it's so intense, and that's why it's so difficult to keep redirecting, because you're in that survival state, even though it's not a physical survival situation, but it's as intense. Okay, so this is brilliant, Sadia. Good job. So now let's go to the worst case scenario, make peace with that, and then we'll find the references and change them. So first off, worst case that'll happen. So they think you're dumb, they not interested in what you're saying, and you get a bad grade. And what then? What will happen then?
Then I fell.
Fail, and then what? Then what will you do?
I would restart, redo, or
Do it over, yeah. And what's wrong with that?
Well, yeah, always is self-critical thinking about, like, yeah, if you retake it, like it means, like, like it's, I don't know, like I feel both, like it's kind of difficult, because I want to be done with it. One thing I've been like, I realized I was catching that is, like, I feel tired, exhausted of that. I don't see where I'm going with that and all this kind of thing. Like, I want it to be done. So, like, if I fail, I would have to redo it again. I don't know if I would have the string of all this kind of thing. And at the same time, like, I would still have the same teacher, same person. Like, I would be back again, and
Right.
that same situation. So, like, on both sides.
And that's a bad, being back in the same situation. That's something you don't want.
Well, definitely not. And yeah, and having to kind of face them again or something like that.
All right. So that feeling of I'll be back in that same situation and having to face them again, you got that feeling? Can you imagine that feeling?
Yeah.
Good. And now, where in your childhood did you have that same feeling of again and back in that same situation, or having to face somebody or something, probably different context, different topic, but same feeling? You got anything?
Well, no, I've been trying to see that, but I feel like usually like it's usually strong when I think about the word failure, like you failed something.
Good. So failure, what does failure mean to you?
Well, yeah, not achieving something at first. Like,
Okay. And when you see, now you must know other people who failed things, right?
yeah.
You know anyone else who's failed? And how do you see them? What do you think of them for failing?
I kind of feel divided, like confused. There's a part of me that, like, I was never allowed to fail something. Like, and usually when you fail, usually they would say kind of you didn't work hard enough or all this kind of thing. So, like, there's a part of me that, okay, you didn't work hard enough or this kind of thing, and there's the other part, like, just what to say, you have the right to fail. Like, it's so okay to.
It's the subconscious and conscious parts of you. So the subconscious is programmed to feel like you didn't work hard enough, because that's what you had drummed into you from from little, and then the conscious part of you that understands and knows better is saying, but you have there's nothing wrong. Okay, so this is great. So that's where then it probably is. So that those experiences from when you were a child of you're not allowed to fail, what was the consequence of failing?
Well, related to school, it was a big thing. Like really fear. Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Well, fear. Yeah, fear of being kind of beaten.
Absolutely. And so what's happening right now, Sadia, this is such a clear example, and this is for anybody else who had any kind of punishment for failing. What's happening right now is when you think of those exams, your subconscious, that little girl in you, is still terrified of being beaten. Do you see that? Now, we know you're not going to get beaten this time during, now, but your subconscious doesn't know that. The little girl in you doesn't know that. That little Sadia is still petrified of failing because of the consequence of being beaten. Can you see that?
Yeah, that resonates so much. Yeah.
And it would for anybody. Any of us who were beaten as children, this is going to be a key thing, because, we tend to think, well, that's over, it's in my childhood. But it absolutely is forming a part of who we are. The foundation of why we need to be terrified of whatever it happens to be, in this case, failing. How perfect is that? So now, of course, you need to go and change those memories. So change them. So I would do a stepping stone. And in fact, I would do this, see if this resonates with you. One of the things I did for myself is I would have it that if you fail, you get beaten, but somebody steps in and goes, oh no, this is not right. No, you are not beating these children, and they get carted off, they get arrested or whatever. The children are protected. All right, so you can create that as a stepping stone. Practice it, and then another stepping stone where you fail, and what really should have happened is that they speak to you, say, okay, so how can we help you? What do you need? Which bits did you not understand? Let's do it again. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Fail is just the way we learn. That whatever should have been, that's how you're treated, and you all get another go at it, and then you succeed. That's second stepping stone. And then the final memory is you never get anything wrong. It's always right. All right. So then you see memories, scenes of you getting 100% on everything, all of your exams, all of your tests, 100% Sadia, 100%. Well done, Sadia. Stars, whatever you like to add there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
How would that feel? Good. And this is for everybody. If you were hurt in any way, and whether you think you deserved it or not, because I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I got spankings, but I deserved it because there's no such thing. There is no such, no matter what you did, no matter what you did, there is no such thing as I deserved any punishment. So this goes for everybody. If you were punished in any way as a child, that's a place you can start and go and change those memories so that you were never, ever punished. Things were explained to you, you were helped, you were encouraged, you were guided kindly, always with kindness and compassion. Any punishment, change it. How does that sound? Is that okay, Sadia? How do you feel now, sweetheart?
Well, much better, because I wasn't thinking about that, because the thing is I was never, usually I always find a way to avoid being beaten, but I was not thinking about the fear of still being there, of being punished.
Thank you for that clarification as well, because you don't need to have experienced it yourself. You just need to have known about it or witnessed it for that, to put that fear into you, and to have that program, I must never. Because sometimes it's even worse witnessing it, because the brain comes up with even worse scenarios and how much, worse experiences. So I know that this goes for a lot of people with siblings as well. When my sister has mentioned this before, sometimes you've got the guilt that you weren't the one being beaten, it was the other one. So you were kind of glad, some of us, you were kind of glad the other one was getting beaten just because it meant that you weren't. So that's another aspect for people with siblings, and that's nothing to be ashamed of or guilty of. That's a normal human reaction. And again, change it so that nobody was ever beaten, nobody was ever punished. So thank you, Sadia. Yes, because that little you, gosh, the terror, the fear, the apprehension, and of course that's all being reproduced now.
Thank you. I was not thinking about that at all. Even for my siblings, yeah.
Pardon?
No, I was not thinking about that at all. Like, I have not experienced it, like find a way to avoid it, but my siblings, so they were experiencing it, and I was there knowing that what it looks like and all this kind of thing. Even if I avoided it, I still had the same fear, but couldn't realize it was the same.
Exactly. And now that part of you is still trying to avoid it. Bless her little heart. Okay. So I'm getting waves of goosebumps as I'm saying this. So this is wonderful, Sadia. Well done, and thank you so much for sharing this, because this is going to help a lot of other people. Good job, you. So now you're going to change those memories, but now in the meantime, how do you feel now about the exams?
Well, we were talking, like, I feel like some kind of relief. Yes. But like, it's always a thing of practice, like, because usually, like, I'm like, okay, there, I can deal with it, it's okay, and then like after, like, comes back. But I'm so thankful that I know about resources that can help me quickly deal with that before it becomes bigger.
Good. And now on, when that fear comes up, so when you think of the exams and that fear comes up automatically, now use your zero tolerance to hug that little you and tell her she's okay. It's okay. You're all right, and play the new memories. All right. So every time you feel that fear, go, it's okay, sweetie, that you're not in danger, and play the new memories.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Good job, Sadia. I'm so excited for you. Very good. All right. So, Steve, any questions from the chat? Okay, and so let's go into the superpower state and start targeting. So, Steve, if you could send me the targets, thank you. All right, everybody, take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer, and go into your superpower state, however you normally do that. Start to feel your heart opening, your chest expanding. Imagine that light shining out from your chest. And then allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Very good. Now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. Allow that light or energy to fill your subject. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you or doesn't have the qualities that you love and admire. And keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway, exactly as they are, without those qualities. Very good. Now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that light, that energy. from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the politics of the world. All the politics, all the people who are engaging in the politics, who are clashing, who are triggered, who are experiencing conflict, and everything that's around the politics. Shine this light into all of it, every person, every circumstance, every event. Shining this light into any darkness and loving everything exactly as it is. Loving everyone exactly as they are, without judgment, without it needing to change. Shining this light into all of the darkness. Very good. And now to Sadia. Fill Sadia with that same light, that energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Sadia just for existing. Very, very good. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with the same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. Very good. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with the same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. And allow that light or energy to overflow from Swasti and fill her uncle who has COVID-19 and his family, especially his parents who live with him. Fill all of them with this light, this energy, this love, no matter what. Loving them, each one, loving the situation, loving the circumstances, loving it all anyway, shining this light into any darkness, no matter what happens. Exactly as it is. Good job. And now to Carrie. Fill Carrie with the same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Carrie just for existing. Very good. And now to Sylvie. Fill Sylvie with the same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Sylvie just for existing. Good job. And now to the person off camera who's requested the superpower for their family situation. Fill that person from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love that person just for existing. Very good. Allow that light, that energy to overflow from that person and fill their family and whatever that family situation is. Shining that light into any darkness, loving everyone, everything, every circumstance and every event exactly as it is without needing it to change and without judgment, loving it all anyway. Shining that light into any darkness. feeling that power. Good job. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to fill yourself later today. So think of yourself later today, no matter what you'll be feeling or doing or experiencing. Love that version of you exactly as you are. Imagine that version of you being filled with this light, this energy. And see that light, that energy shining out from that version of you, that future version of you, and flooding everything around you, everything, everyone, in this beautiful, white, bright light. Shining that light into any darkness, loving everything exactly as it is without needing it to change. Very, very good. You can open your eyes if you have them closed. Well done, everybody. Good session today again. And lovely to see you all. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And as Steve says here, yes, practice allowing whatever shows up and fill it with unconditional love. And you're very welcome, everybody. Thank you for the comments. And lots of love to all of you, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.